Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 2024. And this is our first question time of the year. If you don't know what this is a live stream where you get to ask any question you like regarding game dev, Unreal Engine, really whatever the hell you like. Hope everything's working okay and everyone can hear me just fine. We are now live on Twitch as well as YouTube, so you can watch on whatever platform you want. It's something one of the goals of 2024 was to make sure we're streaming on both, and now we are. So hope everyone can hear me and see me okay. Happy New Year to everyone. We're just waiting for our Unreal to first finish loading up, and hope everyone's okay. As you may see, I've got a new addition to my Lego collection. This is what my wife got me for Christmas. Oh, I'm going to drop him. So I just finished building him yesterday. And also, you've got his platform down there too. You can't really see it, but it's down there. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. You're going to go with the rest of the Lego collection. Oh, his shell's sticking out. There you go. He's a lot heavier than you think he would be. But yeah. But yeah, we're going to do also like a little rearrangement of the office. So one thing we'll do is this desk here is going to be over there, and that sign there is going to be over here. So I can set my wife up with a table over here too. So Things might look a bit weird in the background of some videos and live streams, but we'll get there. Okay, so if you don't know how this works, all you got to do is put your question into chat. I'll try and grab as many questions as I can within the hour that we're here. If I don't get to your question, don't worry, just put it back in the chat again. But please try to refrain from spamming it if you can help it. Let me just bring up Unreal. QT117, are we in now? I think we are. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the questions we've got so far. Anything we can answer while we're waiting for Unreal. Let's put me more center. That's a bit, it's a bit better. I have no idea. Let's see if we've got a few that we can answer without Unreal for a second. Crazy Boa 7, sorry. Hello Ryan, happy new year. What are some important nodes YouTube developers often neglect that you find important, and how do you remember the less known nodes and when to implement them? I would actually argue it's less about the nodes, like you're trying to remember the nodes. It's more about the techniques that you want to learn. So I mean, I don't watch a lot of other YouTubers. I don't know what they do. So I can't comment too much about what they're missing or what they don't miss. But it's never about learning all the nodes. That's because I always say it's impossible to do. There's too many to learn. So what you want to learn is how to learn Unreal Engine, how to teach yourself, and how to find solutions to problems. And I went through this back through last year in a live stream where we've done a stream about how to get good at Unreal. So watch that back if you haven't already watched it, as it talks a lot about how to problem solve and how to find solutions to problems that you didn't know exist. But a lot of the solution is just trying things out and experimenting different ways out. You'll eventually learn different coding patterns and workflows that will make your life a lot easier, and that sort of thing is something that can be taught and observed through other YouTubers, and everyone does it in a slightly different way. But it is very much a way you have to find your own sort of feet with it. So yeah, go check out that live stream I've done last year to get more a handle on how to get compared to Unreal. But it is less to know. Can't stop yawning. It's less about remembering certain nodes and more about learning how things work. So yeah, once you know how something works, then you know when to implement it. So yeah, experiment. Okay, Unreal is finally finished loading up. Let's jump across over there. Okay, next question. Roger Foster, my question is, I've been recently trying to understand replication and what to build and what. Could you give a brief overview of player controller, game state, and player state, and when to use each? Good question. So yes, first of all, explaining what's replicating and what's not. So on the player controller side of things, every client has a player controller. The server has access to everyone's player controller. Okay, it has a copy of each one's player controller. Each player controller has a as a player state. So much like a player controller, all the clients have a player state, and the server has access to the player states. But one thing about player states is that they are accessible by everyone. Everyone can access the player states. So when you think about what you want to put in the player state, it's stuff that is going to be like useful for other people to know. So if you're doing like let's say a team deathmatch, you will know how many kills people have got, what their score is, and things like that. And that's going to keep track of that stuff. The game state is how you share information across the game mode, because the game mode is only on the server. But there may be some things that you want to share across all the players. So this could be like objectives. Okay, so for example, in my game Mimic, the objectives are randomized at the start of each round, and the chosen objectives are stored in the game state. Okay, so I can't help yawning. Sorry. So when people complete objectives, everyone gets updated at the same time. So game state is for stuff you want to share across everyone as part of the game, like centric to the game. but isn't sensitive. If it's sensitive, you want to keep it in game mode. Player state is anything related to the player that you want to share. So maybe the player's health, score, things like that. And chances are that that's coming across from somewhere else, and it's just replicating itself from a rep notifier or some kind of thing. And the player controller is going to be more about localized things that you're doing on your client side. So anything that's local to you, you would keep in a player controller. Yeah. Right. Nia Masaki, hey Ryan, how would you go about doing dev work with a cat that will only ever sit on your shoulder? Yeah, just do it. Just get used to it, or lock them out. I've got a lock now on my door to keep cats and children out of my office. Stephen Nichols, hey Ryan, happy new year. Using enhanced input, how would you differentiate between an actor that needs a button press to be activated compared to something that needs to be held? Yeah, good question. So if I go into my actions here, and we're going to do one called interact, okay, and I'm going to do another one called use, okay, IA use. So if I now go back to my context here, I'm going to add the mappings for these two. So interact and use. So both of these are going to have the same key. So E for both. Okay. The difference is that interact, I have to hold the key down in order to achieve itself. So the trigger for this, we're going to click on here, is going to be a hold. Okay. And I have to say hold for 1 second, sure. Okay. So if I hold the key, it'll do that. Okay. If I want to do the use trigger per actor, we can actually, you can just do it with interact on its own. Yeah, it'll do interact on its own. So I interact, just got the trigger for the hold on it. And then on your interface that you have for handling interactions, so go to blueprint, interface, interaction, and in here we go interact with and use. Okay, so interact with will be the one that we hold down for, use will be the one that will be just clicked on. And so when you are on your player character doing the IA interact event, the triggered is when you want to do the interact with. Okay, and you put in the target for what you're interacting with. If though you cancel this thing, that's when you want to use the use message instead, because cancelled indicates that you've finished and released the key before the 1 second has finished. Okay, so you've tapped it basically. So you could do it like that, or if I go back to my original method that I was showing, you could have two inputs, IA interact and an IA use, both using E key, but this one trigger is a tap key only. Tap. So tap is 0.2 seconds. So if you want to keep them like on the same input, doing it like this, that's how you do that. But if you want to do it with IA use, this will only get triggered when it's tapped. So taps has got to be pressed and released within a certain time frame. Otherwise, it'll be IA interact. Okay, so it depends on what kind of thing you're trying to do, but I'd probably do it this method personally, as it's a bit cleaner. It gives a bit more control as well. But yeah, you can have two things set up with the same key, just change the different triggers on them. So this was a held trigger, this was a tap trigger. Okay. Hopefully that helps you out, Stephen. Next question. Let's pick another one at random. Oh yes, the January game jam. Are you talking about? Oh, yep, it's Daryl. You're talking about the January, like you're talking about the game jam. You're talking about the creator challenge. If the creator challenge, and that's something different, I'll talk about that. I'll look into that and fix that. But as some of you may have noticed, we cancelled the game jam that was going to happen for this month. Reason being is game jams are a lot of work. And so rather than doing what originally was going to be 4 a year, one each season, we're going to just do one really big one at some point in the year, probably in the summer. Reason being is, as I say, it's a lot of work to run a game jam and give it the justice it needs, especially for marketing it and being on social media and reviewing it. So rather than divide the workload into 4 little jams, we'll just do one big one. And we'll probably have a bigger prize fund as well, and we can offer prizes for different reasons. So yeah, something to look forward to in the summer. We'll probably summer. Yeah, we'll do that there. Okay, but yeah, sorry if everyone's late notice. It was just like, this is a lot of work. But if you want to do something more like jammy like every month, the Patreon has a creator challenge. So every month we give a challenge. It's very, very small, and it's there to test you and flex your muscles on game making. And so you get to submit that, get some feedback on it, and yeah, and any Patreon member can take part in that. So feel free to have a look. Try and pick one that we can do. Can you please hold on, we've got quite a few here. So Daryl's asking, yep, it's Daryl, how can I prevent specific input keys from functioning for the player character when they enter a trigger box? I want to restrict players from shooting NPCs or performing certain actions. Yes. So you can't, because it's a part of the input system. Yeah, we know. Go away. Because the input system, you want to get the player controller, and then from that get the input get the enhanced input local subsystem, and then from that you can get all different input actions. So if I type in input, you'll see down here we could add mapping context, and you can also remove a mapping context. So when they enter a certain thing, you can not mapping context, sorry, action. Yeah. This one. I mean, you can add and remove, have different contexts for different situations. So you may have like a friendly zone where the player can't shoot their gun or anything like that. You may just unregister the context and add a new context in. So you could just do that. You could also inject an action in. Nah. I would actually just do a separate context, personally, I think. I would do it as like you have this default context, and then I'll make a double one. And this one would be like friendly. So this would be like areas that you can't shoot, like a home base, for example. So like how Destiny has the tower. It'd be the same sort of thing. I'll just take out the gun player here and just remove context, add context, that sort of thing. That would probably be how I solve that problem. Then you key. Is there an option to toggle on off all widget components, i.e. player tags above players at once? Not really. I mean, kind of. So you can get component by class. Get components by class. I would actually probably make it so the widget. Let's test this out. Actually, let's make a widget component. Okay, and have the functionality on the widget, not on the character. So let me just make a simple widget. Player bars, whatever. And then in here, we're going to have a progress bar. That do. And for the sake of this, I'm just going to put it in front of the, like above it so we can see it. Player bars. We'll just do 100 by 30. And I'm going to attach that to the camera boom. Not on the camera boom, sorry. On the... I'll just leave it like that, be fine. Okay, so there's the widget, okay? So we should be able to see that in game, hopefully. Yeah, there's the widget. Right, so if I want to say make that widget toggle off and on for whatever means, on my player bars widget itself, put this on here. Put the like functionality on here, and because if you're using enhanced input action, you could use the same thing for here. So I can just do add interact key, and when that's triggered, I can set visibility. Okay, and this could be. I'll just do toggle visibility. That might be better. No, I have to do set visibility. Get visibility is visible. Select. If it's true, we want to make it hidden, and if it's false, we'll make it visible. Okay, so because it is on that, it should. Did I not add the key to that? Oh, wait, with hold, didn't I? Hold on. Oh, yeah, it triggered. I need to make it sure it triggers once. Hold on. Interact. Let's go to that. And modifier. Modifier. Might be on here. It's one shot. There you go. Okay. And then put it back on. So you do that for all of them. So if I add something else, do the same thing. So for example, if we go to this cube here and I add a widget component to it and set that to player bars. There's his bars. It should still register the same input. Yeah. So you could do that with an input like that. But that's only if it's input, obviously. You can make that tied to a setting in your save file, whatever it may be. Yeah, I'll do it actually in the widget itself rather than anywhere else. Abstree. Do you have any ideas on Molotov style effect? The ability to spill fire on the ground in the contained area. My napalm BP spawns a fire on the floor, but it spills over the map. Okay. So it sounds like you're doing half of it all right. Okay, so the first half is that you've got this fire effect, but you haven't got it restrained. So when you do the Molotov, there's two things in action. You've got the well, maybe three, but two things definitely. You need the bottle, the projectile that gets thrown in the air, and then you get the fire effect. So I'm skipping the fire in the bottle thing and just show you the fire effect. So you want the fire effect just to like spread out across a small area. So what you want to do is have an actor fire, and in here we'll have a sphere collision. So you need the sphere collision because you need to know if the player's inside or actors inside of it, because if they are, then they can take damage. What you don't want is to just put it as a visual effect, because then it means nothing. So do it as a volume like this, and we'll start it off as 32. Okay, and we're gonna make this thing grow over time. And just for our sake, I'm gonna turn off rather hidden in game, so we can actually see it growing. And on the event graph on begin play, we're going to do a timeline growth, play that, and we're going to add a float in here, and that be scale. And over time, it's going to start off at time 0, scale of 1. Okay, and then over 5 seconds, it's going to reach the scale of 4. Oh, 4. But it probably won't grow linearly like this is. That you probably have this more curved. So I'll probably put in another point right about here and bring it up like so. So it grows quickly at the start and then grows more slowly. And I'm going to bezier these a little bit with just clicking auto. Just smooth out the graph a little bit there. Okay, so something like that. So it'll grow quite quickly first and then more slowly. Okay, and if I wanted to make this extra useful, I could change the length of this from 5 seconds to say 15 and leave it like that, because then what I could say is that when it's finished, I can then tell it to die down and be destroyed. I can actually do it all on here actually, couldn't I? So if I set that to be 15, 4, and then go down there, do like 20, and do value of 0. And we'll just go for 20. So over the 20-second span, the circle of damage is going to spike up, stay there, and then dissipate down. Okay, and then on the update of this, we take my sphere, set radius, and oh, hello. On update, I'm going to take this and multiply 32 by the scale. Okay, so it's going to get bigger over to 4 times that. I may actually increase that a little bit more. Let's just do another factor of 3. And that's going to update the overlap every time it updates as well. So if I'm inside of it and if I'm outside of it and I'm suddenly inside of it, it will update the overlaps and trigger it. Okay, so when it finishes that, and then when it's finished here, we'll just do destroy actor. Okay, so that means the fire's gone. Okay, so this is just the ball of fire, the Molotov effect on the ground. So not looking at fire just yet, just looking at the circle growing and then shrinking again. So there it goes, and then it will shrink. So that's how it detects like damage, for example. And then it will slowly shrink down when it hits the 15-second mark. Yeah, there you go. Okay, it's gone. So now we just need to tie that with some visual effects. So what we can also do then is you do it with Niagara, or you can make it more random, whatever you really want. Let's go for Niagara. We'll do an empty system, and we'll do NS fire. And one thing we're going to do is Well, there's a way you can convert this, and it may be a plugin. I might have not even enabled. Cascade. Yeah, so there's this thing here, Cascade to Niagara converter. So if you want to use this, probably have to restart, don't I? I won't bother. You can turn everything into a Niagara system and bring it across, which is really handy if you want to make load of how do you contain it so it doesn't spill off edges? Yeah, so that's where this particle system comes in. So your fire, Molotov, it will want to spill off an edge, like you would want to fall off the edges of the things. So like here, for example. You probably want it to drop off a little bit, but nonetheless, where are we? Yeah. We go add emitter and do an empty one. And right now, I'm not going to worry about like sprite without effect. That's another problem for another time. Do spawn rate 5. Particle spawn is going to be a shape location. And the shape location is going to be a sphere. And the sphere radius here, we're going to tie it to a variable. So I'm going to go to my user parameters and add a float. Oh, hello. Float to that. And that would be radius. That starts off for 32. And let's set this to my radius. Radius. There you go. Okay, so setting it to that. Next is I want it to find the floor. I only want it to spawn on the floor. I don't want to spawn it anywhere else. So we're going to do a sphere distribution. We're going to change that from sphere. No, ring or disc. Sorry, my bad. Ring or disc. There we go. And radius. There we go. There we go. Distribution, we're going to cover the whole thing. Okay. And like that. Okay. Yeah, okay. So next is we want to only spawn the particle if it has like a surface, like a floor, collision where it's at. So best thing to do for that would be can you do a collision check in here? No, you can't. Particle spawn. We could make this so particle update. Well, I'll go particle update here, and I'll just do gravity onto it. Yeah, fix that. It's 100. Okay, and I'm going to change my size for my particles. Sprite size, uniform, 10. I'll do 20. Okay, ring radius, disk coverage, 1. There you go. Not you distribution, we want it's that one. There you go. Sure. Okay, so if I go to this fire thing here, add the Niagara system to this. There we are. And on the update here, we're going to take out that system. Set parameter. Set Niagara variable float. We'll call it radius. And the value will be this value here. Okay, so it should show this ball, like this fire here going off, and because it's reaching the edge, it will just fall off the edge. like that. There you go. Now, as it is fire as well, we probably want it to be a bit bigger than that, and also change the rate of the spawn rate here. So spawn rate 5, we'll change that as well. So we go to add another variable, right, and we'll go to rate, and we'll change the rate. Rate by default is 5. Okay, so just change that here to rate. So rate there is 32 to 5 as a ratio. So if I were to do on here, as rate, if I take this value, so it's about 6 divided by that. So I'll do roughly that divided by 6. That should give me an equivalent rate of what it's starting at, roughly. Nothing has to be exact, but we should see the rate increase as it grows and falls off the edge. Yeah. So now we just need to make it so that the ones that are not colliding or anything. Well, actually, we want them to collide, don't we? Collision. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, like way how we can like pass that information out. We want to get rid of the bit down here, don't we? I mean, we could. There's something we could do. We could use. I mean, it might be. I'm not too familiar if there's a way we could. There probably is a way to free that from there. So what I'm going to do instead is add another emitter. Can you have a longer lifetime, longer spawn, be closer to fire? Yeah, we're not fire. I'm not worried about making it look like fire. I'm just worried about spawning location. So where these ones are falling, I'm going to change the lifetime of these to 1 second. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to make these on particle update here, generate a collision event. When we do have to make sure that this is requiring persistent IDs, turn it on. And then on this one, we're going to add a stage to it, which is event handler. And I'm going to choose our collision event. We're going to do it for every spawned particle, and we'll make it roughly like 100. Why not? Spawn number 3. I don't know. And then on here we then do receive collision event, and that's gonna be the sprite renderer. So this is not gonna have a sprite renderer. I'm gonna turn it off. So this should only spawn these sprites when it hits the floor, and they should die quicker than no. What have I forgotten? Let me increase this because I'm not too sure I've made that right. Thank you, Nitrate. Why the collision capture doesn't work if it's a root component? It does work. Yeah, I mean the player character is a has its root component. What part of it doesn't work for you? Why is that not working? Generate collision event. Event generation. Enabled. Collision. Cell forces and velocity. Yeah. Emitter, MT, collision event, spawn particles, 100. Yeah, that looks right. Spawn, yep. We'll make it kill the particles while on collision. Kill particles on collision. It should spawn easy. I don't get why not. Header, event, source, collision event, yep. Receive collision event. Event handler properties. Oh. Check collision event. Yeah, that looks okay. So why is that being weird? That should be fine. Just double check these sprites are still rendering. Yeah. So when they die, they should spawn more particles from this then. So why is this not working? Sprite render. You shouldn't have this on. Receive collision event. Yep. Position. Yep. Yep. Spawn particles. Every particle. Don't know. No, you don't need a spawn module up here. This is the spawn module. It will spawn it in. At least it should do. They're definitely colliding. Why is this not working? Yeah. See, it says like this is what it means. The spawn number means it's how many it's going to spawn. Why are you not working? Oh, wait, I've got an error. What's this? The emitter is using dynamic bounds mode, but only using emitter source renderers. Please update the emitter or system properties, otherwise bounds may be incorrect. Missing fixed bounds. Don't know. Is that because the sprite renderer? Don't know. Don't know why it's not working. That should be fine. I mean, I could put a spawn rate in it, but that's not going to help. Maybe if I leave it at 0. Maybe it needs a node, but not the value. Yeah. Delete. Every particle. Try for that. No. Aha. Something's happening. Right, they're spawning below. Like, why are they spawning there? Oh, it's spawn. Yeah, okay. I think I know why. Right, whenever you see the collision event, the position vector 1 is being applied. Right, okay. So I need to offset the particles, I think. So position offset here. Let's see if we can offset that by 30. Why are they getting destroyed so quickly there? I don't know. Right, so a couple of things you're seeing there. So the reason why it's so bright is because this collision property here is spawning 100 of them every event. So we don't want that. We just want one. But max events per frame should be 100. That should be okay. I'm only getting... Why are they doing that? The reason why it wasn't working is because they were colliding and it was appearing but underneath, so you couldn't see it. So I'm trying to offset it. So position offset will do local. Don't know. Actually, yeah, let's just do direct set. Position here. We're going to gate from our output of a vector. So we go down here, position, and oh crap, what was it? No, what do I call it? Name position vector 1. Output receive location event vector 1. That's what it's called. Okay. So receive. Oh, no. Vector. Why are you not here? It changes, no? Yeah, output. Output received. Output the received event. Position to output receive location event vector 1. You say an event set. Yes. So why can't I use it? No. Right, nonetheless. So why are they going away too quickly then? Oh. Oh, because I've made them output. Hang on, back here. Apply. There you go. Yeah, there shouldn't be. How many elements I could symbolize of it, and if there are more events generated than its value, they will be ignored. Let's do 50-50. Spawn particles. It should be spawn particles whenever you do this sort of thing. Yeah, there you go. So now they only spawn on the surface. Yeah. And then it'll shrink. And they will... No, it's because they've got a lifespan. We have to clear their lifespan. Change that to like 2 seconds. No, 1 second. 1 second, 2 seconds. Let's try 1 second. Yeah, so as it shrinks, then it should stop spawning them in on the edges. Yeah, there you go. Ta-da! Yeah, so there you go. The reason why it weren't showing is because the collision event is being applied as its collision location, and for some reason it reads it as below. I don't know why. It shouldn't do, but it is. If I turn interpolate spawn position, that'd be a bit nicer. I don't know. But there you go. There's a solution to that. So you can have this fire spawning only on the surface. I wouldn't say this is probably the best way. It's probably a better way of doing it, but this is a way of doing it. It should do just fine. But yeah, obviously replace the balls with fire and all the rest of it. Okay. Next question. So many questions. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah. Orty3858. Would you know how to do a whip effects in Niagara? Not many videos on this that I can find in YouTube, like Indiana Jones whip crack. What do you mean by the whip effect? You mean like the actual whip itself, or like the spark at the end when it whips cracks? Like, what part are you talking about here? Because the whip is probably an animated thing, rather than a Niagara effect. But yeah, let me know what you mean. Hey Chris, hey there. I seen your beta test of Mimic. Music will play when you are seen. How do you do that? Yeah, so the AI has an AI perception thing on it. So for argument's sake, just have a character here. Imagine it's the AI. You have their perception, and this has a target perception updated. No, not target perception updated, sorry. Target perception updated. And I checked to see if they've been seen, because you can split this open and have a look and see if they've been seen, true or not. And if they have been seen, then I just trigger music to play. And that's it. Thank you, Abstree B. Thank you for the donation. The whip. I've seen Epic do this with one of the Paragon female characters, but they did it like a glowing effects with particle emitter cascading. I don't know. A whip effect. I mean, a whip essentially is a ribbon. You can do ribbons in Niagara pretty simply. But it's getting that sort of movement. Like, you want... I mean, you could probably do something with it. You could do ribbons. I don't know how well that'll look, but you can do ribbons. I'll show you how they work. So, create an empty system. Ricky Moya, do you have any tips on moving from freelancing to getting into more permanent positions in game dev? Try to show off your work as much as possible. For YouTube, ArtStation, like whatever it is you're currently working on. Share it and show it as much as you can, that you're allowed to anyway, to share what you can. That's how you're going to get noticed. So do that. Talk to people, network, that sort of thing. Yeah, so in particle spawn here, emitter update, we're going to add a spawn rate. We'll do 3 per second. And on particle update here, no, spawn, we'll add velocity. We'll fix that issue. And I don't want it in the Z. I'm going to change it to be in the X. So it's forwards in the X. And we'll make it quite fast. So, I don't know, 300. Okay, so that's what they look like, okay? And then what a ribbon does is it connects each of the particles together. So if I go down to renderer and add ribbon renderer, you'll now see there's a very thin line. I don't know if it's going to come through in the stream, but there's a very thin line connecting them all up now. So on the ribbon renderer, you now go to the initialized particle and you go to ribbon at width mode and you change it to direct set. Set to 5 to begin with. You turn off the sprite renderer. So then you only get the line. Okay. And then if you want to make it smoother, you just increase the number of particles that have been spawned. So bear that in mind. So if I'd done that as like 10, we get a smoother line coming out. All right. Now, with it being a ribbon, if it's going out like this, if I tie it to my player character's hand, for example, so let's say I just add it to the hand. And we'll attach it to the hand. Oh, like that. So as the hand moves, it's going to leave behind a trail behind, like whipping around. Obviously, you attach that to the actual animation of the character. But I don't have whip animations. But then it just follows their animation like this. And as you can see, they're getting left behind. If you want to make it more whippy like, you probably have to make it local space, I imagine. So go properties and tick local space. And what that means is that the simulation position is now attached to the player character. So as the player character moves, so does the simulation position. It's not a world coordinate anymore, which means my character is going to be moving with this like line coming out of their hand the whole time. Which isn't a great effect because we want it to be moving. We want the first lot to be local space, but not others. So we can't have that, can we? Probably just need to be faster, I guess. 1000. And change the lifetime here to 0.5. So you have this like whip effect type of thing. Maybe that's how they did it. I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but that's something like that effect you're talking about. If you want it to apply just to an animation, bring an animation in that we could use it for. I'll try and find something. Hold on. I've got too many things in here. Hold on. Sure. Okay, just adding a an animation to it that we can see. Yeah, and one thing you can also do with the whip that's quite useful, because as I say, we haven't done anything to the whip like appearance. If you want to make it more like energy looking, things like that, you can go to the particle update and do on ribbon and scale ribbon width, and you can change that based on its lifespan. So lifetime span. No, what is it? Normalized age, isn't it? Normalized age. There you go. So that's now going to be like, it changes based upon the span of it. So 0 to 1. Obviously, that's rubbish with that width. So you want to multiply that. So you can multiply that by the normalized age. And you can multiply that by 30. And you get that effect. So it gets wide at the end. But if you want it to do the other way around, just do negative that. It comes out like that. And same goes for color and opacity and things like that. You just scale color with scale color. And with scale opacity here with the normalized age. You know, whatever. Yeah. So it gets like wide at the end, or like thinner. You can change the color of it as well based on its age. This sort of juffy thing you see at the start here, you can make that a bit nicer by changing the velocity. So in particle update, we go to velocity, scale velocity, and we change it to a curve. Vector from curve, and you can start of it at 0, and then this one ends at 1, like that. Like that. Okay. We'll look a little bit better at the start here. And then if you also go to the color, you can be that again. If you make the spawn rate higher, it makes it smoother too. So you make 100 and you get like a lot smoother. Yeah, let me bring an animation in. Tie it to an animation. So animations, mannequin motion. I just need an attack of some kind. What's this one? Something sweepy. That's more stabby. There you go, sweepy. We'll use this one. So we'll go to that one. I'm going to retarget that. And that's UE4 to UE5. Retarget. There it is. Open this up. We'll make this root motion. Doesn't really matter because the feet doesn't look like it moves much, but root motion anyway. And on here we can attach the notifier for the ribbon to come out of the hand. So if I go to notifiers here, add notifier, we'll do state, do time, Niagara effect, and select it. Ooh. And choose our whip. And we attach it to the hand. That's the right hand. And we shouldn't have to do anything else. But we might have to change the orientation of it. But we'll create a montage of that. Not that one. Create montage. And on the player character, yeah, we want to get rid of the whip on there. And when I push the 1 key, we'll play montage. Choose the mesh. Choose the montage. And that should be it. Yeah, might need to time it a bit better, but there's our whip. So let's fix that width up so it not look stupid. -10, -5, like that. Sure. I mean, this could as well be a curve, float from curve like this. And you could say this one goes down, then you can bring it up like that. And you get like that sort of curvature. Auto. Yeah. Much more nicer looking curve. Yeah, and let's change that. So starts there, whips round, and ends there. So you tie it to the animation that you're doing it, obviously. May need to preempt it a little bit. Move it back up. Oh, yeah. There we go. And also going to change the whip so it comes out more at the tip of the hand rather than the palm like that. So I'm going to give it a rotation offset. I'm not too sure which direction it's be because it's all a bit skew with in the bones. So we're going to check this out. So rotation offset, we'll just guess 90. Nothing there. 90. Nothing there. 90. Absolutely useless. Well, you could just tie it to a socket, I guess, but nonetheless, that's how you could do it. And if you want it to go further away, you make it faster. So add velocity, it's 1,000. I'm going to change the speed scale here to like 4. So that's 4,000. And we should now have a longer whip. You know. Maybe that. I don't know. It's something you can play about with. Let's change it to like 10. And I'm going to change that there. Oh, just annoying. I'm going to add a socket to this thing. Hold on. Hand R. Can I add a socket here? Yeah, add a socket. And socket. Why is it not respecting that? Oh no, something to play about with. But that could be a direction you could go. Obviously that's a sword animation, not a whip animation. So that's always going to be something to contend with. Okay, we're going to answer a couple more questions because we're running out of time, or we've run out of time. Do you only stream on YouTube or Twitch as well? As of today, we are streaming on Twitch as well. So by all means, support us over on there. Next question. Any suggestion about language localization? Yeah, you want to look at the localization tool. Just go into the documentation and have a look at it, but you have a tool up here for localization. Localization dashboard. Ding. And this just passes through the whole entire thing. I can never remember the way to do this. Hang on, let me get the documentation myself. I need to do an actual video on it at some point. Where are you? UE5 doc localization. Do. But yeah, this is why you have things set to text, not string or name, because text is automatically picked up by this stuff. And it will output it correctly for you. Oh, God's sake. UE5 documentation. Taking its sweet time. Can your animals within UE5 as well? Could you recommend exporting character to Blender, animate there, and then import them back to UE? Second, do you have any videos on recommended videos on world building? Or should be done or level design? So I do live streams on level design. I've done quite a few towards the latter half of the year last year. But there'll be more coming soon. Talking about like, open world design, linear design, platform design, things like that. Can you animate within UE5? Yes, you can animate in UE5. Totally, no problem. You may prefer to do it in other software because they have more tools available to you. But yeah, that's what you want to do now. Is this thing going to load up the documentation? Because I'd say I can't remember. But anyway, so when you want to do this, you can you add cultures down the bottom here. So add new culture. So let's say I want to do like to Spanish. Ooh. There you go. There you go, Spanish. And there is a thing to scan the whole damn document, because then there's exports. You can export the translation out, then import it back in, and it'll swap them out for you. So I need to gather the text of this. So native culture to English. Native, yes, English. Gather text. So yeah, save that. I don't think I've actually got any text in here. I don't know if I actually have any text in here. But you click on gather text, and it'll do its job. And then once it's done, you should be able to import it in. Oh, I need to have a look at it properly. But there is a system in there to help you with that. It makes life a lot easier. So like if I just add some text into a character, for example. So let's go to that widget here. So widget here. Oh. Yeah, it's had like a variable in here. Sure. And then we'll go on to text. Get text. Set text. And you click on the little thing here and you can localize it and make it be ticked by true, like that. So, and that means it's going to be picked up by the localization dashboard, which I've now minimized. Where is it? There you go. Yeah. And yeah, there's a whole thing. I'm not too sure how to do it now. But you do go through there and you can, it does it all, swaps it all out for you when you change different cultures out. But check out on the documentation. I'll try and put a video together of it, but no idea. Isn't that for auto language only, or can you be set up in? You can, yeah, you can make it play, select the language. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that. Like you, like you can set the language you want to use. The culture, to type in what the culture is. So yeah, it's not auto. It's whatever one you. Oh, can't spell it. So you get current, get default, get preferred, get current. So get preferred to be based upon the system, I think. But yeah, that's what it is. Locale. Do the same thing. Locale, set current locale. Yeah. Um, Pack array box tracing is more expensive than other tracing, and for climbing, if you are climbing on a ledge onto a ledge, you want to use a capsule trace. Other than that, sphere trace is probably the best one. Jason, do you have any plans to update your AI series, smart objects with the changes made to 5.3? I have heard 5.3 changed. I haven't looked at it yet, so I need to look at it. But before that happens, we're going to do state trees first, and do a bunch of state tree based ones. Absolutely, your streams aren't available for 2 weeks unless you're a member of the channel, correct? Correct. But question times are available for everyone straight off the bat. But the Saturday ones are locked off for 2 weeks, yeah. Is there performance difference between getting a display name or get class? Not when you do line trace. Not really, because you're still getting information. It's just what useful is. The display name is just going to give you the name of it. It's just a string. Whereas get class gets you the class. You can then access the class defaults. You can use it for different functions. It's a lot more useful. Yeah. How to effectively kill an AI enemy? Yeah, just unpossess it. Easiest way of doing it. Robmar, could you show some methods to increase performance? I've done some in the past, but I need to do actual dedicated videos to it. There's loads of things you could do to improve performance, but we'll work on that. So we'll do a different thing for that. Oh, hi, AJ. Good to see you again. For the landscape, an automatic or not, a mixture. I would have a series of automatic ones plus some hand-crafted bits. Nafiz Khan, in your AI series, the NPC doesn't orient correctly before leaving the petrol point. What's the fix? Cool, I can't remember now, but if you wanted to turn on the spot, you needed to rotate towards what's the bloody thing called? There's a task called rotate. There's a task in the AI behavior tree called rotate something or other. You want to use that one first, and then it finishes the rotation, then it'll move. If you want it to turn whilst walking, then you want to tell its movement in its character movement, the rotation settings, to orient itself towards its movement, not just the control rotation. So there are different methods of different things. Lounby, random buttons in one widget in 3 exactly same location. Here, random buttons in one widget in 3 exactly same location. Any advice? Need 3 buttons? What do you mean? I don't know what you're trying to do. Lounby. Like in Hades, setting abilities. They're not in the same location though in Hades, Lambie. They are. What do you mean? They're in like a row or list or column, aren't they? They're not all hovering in the same spot. I had to randomize the buttons. Oh, right. Okay. I see what you're trying. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I don't really have time to go into it. No, you don't create 50 widgets. You create data assets that these things are going to read from, and they dynamically build from that. And you swap them in on the construct. Trying to think if I've got a video that because I don't have time to do it now. But I'm trying to think if I've got a video with that already in. I don't know if I do or not. I'll put it on my radar as a thing to show how to do, like how to randomize options in a UI. We'll make a video on that at some point soon because that would probably be good. Localization, this is the first at the very end, right? So I need all the menu text subtitles completed first or it will cause trouble, right? Ideally, yes, you want to have them all done first. Okay. Hello, everyone. Unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to end it there and just notice the time. We've gone well past our time. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming by. We do this every week if it's your first time here. And we're back again on Saturday for the first episode of our retro remake, where we're going to be remaking Day of the Tentacle type point and click adventure game. So if you want to know how to make a point and click adventure game, come by on Saturday and watch us do it live. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your questions. And thank you very much for your support. If you want to support the channel further, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Laley. They literally just got a video just now where we go through UMG and we're going to be recreating parts of UMG from other games and showing how you can put that to that. So check it out. It's kind of cool if you're a Patreon member. We're going to try and do one a month of those, so keep an eye out for those. We got a lot in the works, myself and Bill, the editor, on what we want to do with the channel going forward into 2024. There's lots of things we want to do, and I'm eager to get going with that. But yeah, so come by on Saturday. Hold on, AJ. I'll answer AJ's question because you came in late, mate, and we're bros. When building a game that has a relatively simple layout, is it more efficient to save active transform attributes and say adjacent that can be a chord, or just have a mountain of level files? If it's simple, a JSON file should be fine. But I'll just probably have it as level 4. It depends on the scale of things. If it's small and simple, like a cooking game, then yeah, you may want that to be like that. JSON file should be fine. Yeah, I don't think there's any major things there. Rusty, any words of Game Jam before leaving? Yes, I did mention it before. We cancelled it because it was proving too much work to manage for a year. So rather than 4 smaller ones each season, we're going to do one big one in the summer, roughly. Much bigger prize pool. Where I could push it more and do more work on it. It's not as simple as click and go. I want to make sure I advertise it well, market it well. Yeah, there's a few things to be considered there. But anyway, that'll do. We're back again next week, so come by next week. And don't forget, we're live again on Saturday. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And share with everyone, tell everyone to subscribe. And we're almost at 100,000, so I'm looking forward to getting that 100,000 milestone done. Have you planned to continue the survival series? Yes, that is coming. Action RPG series is coming. In fact, I think Patreon members have got another 3 episodes today or this week. I can't remember now. But yes, they are all coming. We just got back from the holidays, so we're just trying to catch up and tick all the boxes before we get back into the swing of things. So thank you very much, everyone. Take care, and enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you, everyone. Bye.